Something that comes up often in my work as a therapist working with fellow neurodivergents is that being neurodivergent can be a very lonely experience. And from the onset, from early childhood, we're conscious of our differences, we're marginalized because of those differences because we don't seem to gel with other people socially. We become hyper-conscious of our differences, we become stricken with shame, we engage in people-pleasing or avoidance or any of the other defensive or adaptive strategies to try to get by. We mask, camouflage, and compensate. We disappear in order to appease other people, in order to pass as normal and to be accepted. And we become disconnected from our true selves, and we start to fear authenticity. We start to fear authentic connection with others, because if we authentically opened up, people would see us for the flawed, deficient, ugly, broken people we are. Again, I'm quoting here because I don't think that's necessarily true, but that's the perception we develop, the shame script we adopt as a result of our series of negative experiences. And these are reinforced by a tyrannical inner critic, which is a symptom of complex PTSD. And complex PTSD is the byproduct, is a result of chronic ongoing relational stress and trauma. And that comes in the form of these interpersonal relationships where we're rejected and we're excluded and judged and bullied and marginalized because of our neurodivergence. So we isolate and avoid to protect ourselves. We hide to avoid punishment. And in this isolation, avoidance, and hiding, the masking, camouflaging, and compensating, we lose touch with ourselves. We fear authenticity, and we can't, because of that fear of authenticity, we don't want to be vulnerable, truly vulnerable, and show up as our true authentic selves. And therefore, we don't feel like we're ever seen, heard, or valued for who we are. And we feel like we can't connect with other people about our genuine interests. We can't feel a sense of camaraderie because we can't let our guard down, and we can't be our true unvarnished selves. And that is the source of the loneliness a lot of the times, is that we are torn between the instinct to show up as our authentic selves and the realization that if we do, we'll be punished and we won't be accepted by other people. And living with that knowledge is a huge burden. It can be crippling, it can be demoralizing, it can lead to feeling like your life is a foregone conclusion. You become very fatalistic, pessimistic. You don't want to try. You don't want to attempt to put yourself in situations that bring uncertainty. You become socially avoidant. You don't join group proceedings, and then you rationalize why you don't do these things. Well, I'm not going to like it anyway. I've done it before. It didn't work for me. I didn't meet people. I feel really uncomfortable, self-conscious. I don't know how to interact with people socially. I'm just going to be judged, excluded, punished. And the rationalizations may be grounded in experience, but they are rationalizations, and they are, again, a form of defensive mechanism to protect you against further harm. But they also keep you constricted. They prevent you from going outside of this very narrow box and meeting new people and having new experiences and opening yourself to new possibilities. And that loneliness deepens if you remain in that very narrow box, trying to protect yourself and avoid the very painful experiences that have, characterized your formative years. What we have to do as neurodivergents is be open to the possibility that we can define our destiny moving forward, and we can have new, healing, growthful experiences if we're willing to take the risk and come out of that loneliness and brave vulnerability and show up authentically. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of masking, camouflaging, compensating. Sometimes situations call for it, but modulating, adjusting yourself for the social situation, reading the room, as we all have to do to some extent, but not letting it compromise your integrity or your dignity as a neurodivergent person and your right to be authentic and to be your true self. Granted, yes, we do need to compromise in social situations. There are rules we have to learn and the adaptations we have to adopt. And it's a little bit more of an uphill struggle for us than it is for neurotypicals, because it seems to come second nature to them, and they adopt it, or they seem to intuit a lot of the rules a lot faster than we do. And it's trial and error for us, which is what makes it so painful. However, if you can persevere, if you can, invest in yourself and your right, and believe in your right to have connection, to be able to be authentic and be accepted, and find the close embrace of friendships as a result of people connecting with who you are, if you can be hopeful, if you can lean into optimism, and if you can keep taking risks consistently and not letting these adverse negative experiences that we have, because we all have them, even when we try to brave vulnerability and we're rejected, if you don't let that inhibit you, gradually you will find your people. You will find closeness, you will find connection, you will find people who see you and accept you and embrace you for you. However, if you do not take that chance, if you prescribe yourself loneliness, and then you stick with that prescription, and you're not willing to prescribe yourself open possibilities or hopefulness, that is what you will reap. And I don't want to minimize, the causes of that loneliness and why we've adapted and often maladapted through excessive constriction of our lives and our connections with other people. I understand the rationale that's behind it and why we adapted. Why we adapt that way, because I've certainly done it myself. But I also know the results of that, what the downstream effects of that is, and also the wonders that can reappear in your life if you're willing to come out of that, if you're willing to take risks again, if you're willing to venture out and, again, brave vulnerability and give people another shot and hope for the best. Hope that there are people out there who will see you and take a chance, and keep taking chances, even if you fall flat on your face, because I know it's going to deter you from wanting to do it again. I know it can also add to your arsenal of arguments against taking these risks, and it can justify you returning to being an isolate, to hermit mode. But I want to always challenge you, like I challenge my clients. Keep trying, keep putting yourself out there, keep taking risks, keep being hopeful, keep believing in your right to be accepted, to be seen, to be, cherished for who you are. And little by little, you will get there. You will find your people. Have you struggled with loneliness as a neurodivergent? And have you found yourself in this very constricted life, withdrawing from people, avoiding them, masking, camouflaging, compensating in excess, and to the point that you don't know who you are anymore, and that vulnerability feels like an unnecessary risk, and that you don't have a right to being your authentic self? And have you found that you've been able to shift and come out of that and adopt a growth mindset and take new risks and meet new people? And have you found your people as a result of that? Or have you found meaningful, fulfilling connections with other people? I would love to hear all about your experiences.